Facebook. So I know some of you guys have been hanging out a lot for that lately, but I'm really excited to be here with you today. It's so good to see you. I've got a lot of things I want to try to talk about and give you updates on about things happening around the farm. And I want to be able to answer a lot of your questions, or as many of them as I possibly can get through over this period of time that we'll be hanging out here tonight. I feel so grateful that you guys are hanging out here with me. No guests today, no special activities or surprises. This one is just me hanging out with you guys, talking about the farm and talking about what's going on with the farm. I will have updates on the cattle. I will have updates on the puppy. I will even have some new, never before seen footage of the puppy. I've got some wonderful moderators here in the chat helping keeping everything civil, like Jack from the Mindful Homestead. And I'm really, really appreciative to get into it. But first and foremost, let's start with the topic of today's live stream, which is specifically winter and being ready for winter. Because to be quite honest with you guys today, I am not feeling like I'm ready for it, and I am a little bit stressed about it. And heck, just even earlier today, we were getting snow, and I was saying, all right, this snow's not going to stick, but I won't get that lucky anytime soon. I got to get my act together here. So let's talk about it. So the biggest issue when I talk about not being quite ready for winter, I think, is that when it comes down to it, I have a bit of work to do when it comes to housing the geese. So as you guys know, I've been working on a special project with my buddy Alfred, and we have been working to build a new house for the geese so that I have like a hoop house where I can contain them in and contain the amount of geese that I actually have here on the farm properly. But unfortunately, we've hit some production snags when it comes to building the structure. I'll do a whole video on this later this week. Hey, AMM2 Media, thanks for the super chat there. I'll be doing an update on that this week. And Shanji, when you see that update video, you will absolutely hear the My Buddy Alfred song. But that said, I'm worried about what I'm going to do. So that's probably the biggest risk I have in terms of being ready for the winter. I have the winter cattle area is pretty much entirely set. I've got all my hay put up. I'm ready to go. I've been working with the cattle very diligently and training them, and I have been doing daily pasture moves. Oh, hey, Christina, thank you for the super chat, and I'm bummed you can't hang out tonight, but I'm sure we'll hang out again sometime soon. Christina is like a super fan. She's awesome. And so anyway, so the cattle are in pretty good position. As far as the chickens go, I actually ended up harvesting most of the roosters. Actually, I shouldn't say most of the roosters. All of the roosters except for Penny the rooster on our farm are gone. I gave a couple away, but then the rest of them ended up in the freezer and basically food for winter. So that's like the biggest thing. The ducks are in pretty good shape, and I think they're ready for the winter with their winter duck house, and I just cleaned it out, got fresh bedding in there. Things are right there. The big problem are the geese, and the reason the geese are a problem is, number one, last year, I think my housing situation for them was less than ideal because I didn't have great space to put them in and let them try to nest and lay eggs. It was like a constant battle with the geese and sort of training them to where I needed them. So that was problem number one. Problem number two is I have so many more geese this year than last year. I have twice as many geese right now. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. I have almost 3 times as many geese right now as I will, as I did last year. And so I'm going to harvest about 1/3 of them, but the 2/3 I actually want to
you got some fresh pasture. Let's go, cows.
Such an important part of our farm business. And so, I really, really want to say that
fresh grass. Let's go.
I want to expand on my goose operation in terms of breeding. Oh, thank you, The Night Within. And good luck to the Rocky Ford flock. It sounds like a great group of ducks, and I'm so happy to hear that we inspired them. Oh, you guys can hear the audio on the video. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I'm having a little audio trouble here today, so apologize. I will turn off all the audio on the video. How about that? So you can just kind of chill out and watch what's going on around the farm and hear me. But anyway, so I have too many geese to house in my current winter housing for the geese. And so what I actually need to do is either make a decision. Am I going to try to, with Alfred, try to finish this hoop house and get it all done before the snow really starts to fly? Or am I going to have to harvest more geese than I intended to? And that is the dilemma and battle I'm struggling with right now. And so that is the main reason I feel like I'm not ready for winter. Oh, thank you, Victoria, for that super chat. Appreciate it. Down east in Maine there. That's good to hear. And wow, Midori from Germany. Thank you. I appreciate that as well. So that's the biggest reason I'm not feeling ready for winter. But I know I'm seeing a lot of questions in here. So let me try to hit a couple of them. And by the way, guys, thank you for telling me that the audio was wrong. Okay, Sisters of Scarlet. Yes, even Alexander Hamilton is now gone from the farm. The reason for that is really it comes down to it. Alexander Hamilton and General Washington both fathered a lot of the birds on our farm now. And for a clean, not necessarily inbred genetic pool, I feel like it's important to change out my roosters every couple of years. And so that's actually why Alexander Hamilton and General Washington had to go away. It's sad. I liked them. Actually, Allison really didn't like Alexander Hamilton. She and I had a discussion at one point where we were like, should we keep him? Maybe we should keep him. I was trying to argue to keep him, but no. What I want to try to do is get another Bielenfelder rooster. So that'll be something to go. Yeah, Soundwave, Sinus. That's what I want to do too. I really want to finish it. We're gonna try doing some work this weekend. Alfred has been building his special pipe bending machine, and I'm hoping it works next go around. I saw a question earlier too about my buddy Alfred song. So I actually went on Fiverr to make that song, and so that's where it originated. So in case you were wondering. All right, and Xanthos is saying the bees. Yeah, the bees are good. I harvested the last of the honey. They're pretty much to bed. I've been actually building a foam covering for it. I might try to put it on this weekend, and then they'll be set for the winter as well. Yeah, Pepper Sprout, I hear you. I got to get it done. I know I got to get it done. It's not so much about wanting to put the time in. It's just a matter of, can I get it done before the snow really starts to fly? And can we get the machine that bends the pipes right and get that done in time to get it built in time to get the birds in there? That's my dilemma. Oh, thank you for the super chat, DeLeo. Did you see Days and Days was up in the Northeast past month? Are you going to add any whitetail to your freezer this year? Love it. I saw Days and Days were touring. I don't know if you guys know, Days and Days is this like folk punk band. I love. They're like probably one of my favorite. They're probably my most favorite active band right now. And they were just touring. I heard they had to actually end early, which is a bummer. And I know that their trumpet player, she was having like wrist surgery or something. But yeah, I'd love to go see Days and Days. If they ever like came to Burlington, I would totally go. It's tough if they were like in Boston though to get out to go see a show, but I don't know, maybe. And then to answer your other question, DeLillo, I don't like Don DeLillo. I'm hoping to add some whitetail. I'm getting ready to add some whitetail. In fact, I have some trail camera footage I wanted to share with you guys tonight as I've been getting ready for adding some whitetail to the freezer. Oh, thank you, Kalissa. I really appreciate that super chat. And I'm so glad you were able to come to the farm meeting. I actually forgot to do some posts promoting it, so I'm glad people actually showed up. It's really fun hanging out here with you guys. Okay, and the Misfit Farm is asking, how's Bruce the Goose? Bruce the Goose is doing good. He and his flock are having fun. They're hanging out. They're still separate from the rest of the goose flock. I think the one difference is that Lenny the goose has actually really come into hanging out with Bruce and his ladies. And so Lenny the goose is doing good. He's not going anywhere. Don't worry, guys. Lenny's friends, so he has 4 other friends who are known as the Outsiders. They're all doing good. And so there you go. Sarah Schneider is a new subscriber within the last 2 weeks, and she's wondering why hasn't Margie the murder chicken gone to Dinnerland yet? Well, actually, Margie, sadly, Sarah, you could probably look this up on YouTube. I did some videos about it. Somebody actually murdered Margie the murder chicken. So I'm not sure if it was an owl. I'm not sure if it was a hawk, but you know, somebody actually had butchered her. And so unfortunately, Margie's no longer with us, which is a shame because I know a lot of people didn't like her, but she was probably one of my favorite animals on the farm. So yeah. So yes, I did try. I have been feeding Toby dog treats. So every morning, excuse me, I just need to drink water before I start coughing. Every morning before, you know, I do like all my other stuff around the farm, I've been going out and working with the cattle. This is some video footage I took the other day that you're watching here on the screen. And when I go out there with Toby dog, essentially Toby likes to go with me. The cattle like to follow me around. The cattle have definitely learned about the treats. And Toby dog's gotten very jealous and curious about them. So he always asks me for one, and I give it to him when he asks. I mean, I have no reason not to. And so, you know, what I found is he usually basically he likes to chew on it and then spit it out. And it really does. It's just alfalfa, so there's no harm in it. And so, yes, I do give Toby dog some of those treats. John K. Cure for dog hunting. Bluetooth geofence shock collars. Ooh, that sounds intense. Yeah, that's exactly right, Jack. The karma caught up with Margie. You're 100%. Hey, by the way, guys, Jack, who's one of our moderators, if you get a chance, go check out his YouTube channel. It's really great. It's the Mindful Homestead. You can see it right there. Good dude. He and his wife have a homestead actually in New Hampshire. They do chickens and ducks and pigs, and it's really good. No, the geese never eat any duck eggs. Yeah, I would really strongly advise you not to let them do that because, yeah, that's a bad habit. You don't want that. So Ginny Barncat is doing really well. I got to say, Ginny Barncat has become like such an amazing like little companion for me. She does this move where she will climb up my leg and just like hang out on my shoulder. And she's become like my shoulder cat. And yeah, she's been awesome on the farm. As far as the other barn cats and the cattle, they really keep their distance. The only barn cat that's actually gotten close to the cattle, and you'll see this in an upcoming video, is Pablo Barn Cat actually has been like checking them out, and they like freaked out. He actually almost caused a stampede the other day. It's pretty funny. Yeah, so Illustraful, thank you for subscribing. And yeah, unfortunately, we can't ship frozen birds. And let me explain why. It's actually not my personal choice. It's a legal thing. So here in Vermont, you're allowed to butcher poultry. I think it's up to $2,500 per year on your farm and then sell them from your farm or at farmers markets locally here. You're not allowed to ship it. You're not allowed to sell it in stores, but you can do like on-farm sales is what it's called. And so that's how we end up processing our birds. I would love to actually take my birds to like a USDA inspected processor, which would then allow me to ship it out. But unfortunately, there's nobody in the Northeast who will do that with geese. So I'm stuck having to process them myself. So it's a very long-winded and complicated answer to your question. But ultimately, what it comes down to is legally, I'm not allowed to ship them the way they're processed. That's partially why when I think about like my farm business long-term and where I'm going, you know, why I want to actually move to the cattle and move to beef, because if I can do that, then I can actually go take them to an inspected slaughter facility, which would let me ship it. And that way I can like make something like beef jerky, which would be a product I could ship you. So Illustraful, I really appreciate the support, but unfortunately, yeah, I'm just not allowed to do it. Okay, I got another super chat from Sin here. Hey, I was wondering if you plan on adding a filter to the pond, considering you have all the manure runoff now. I'm on break, so I'll catch the stream after work. Sorry if this was that. No, it's a good question there, Sin. So a couple things. Number one, I don't plan on putting a filter on the pond. The reason I have the pond is to be really a duck and goose pond and to capture water as needed. It's not meant for the cattle at all, number one. And there's actually no real manure. Like there's no cattle manure runoffs, just to be clarified. There's definitely duck poop. There's definitely goose poop in there. What I really want to do is actually, once I can stabilize the water levels of the pond, ultimately start to add a lot of water plants to the pond so that I can use that as filtration. So rather than having like a mechanical filter, have like a plant-based filter. And so that's actually my plan. Yeah, Marty, Toby's wondering, why the big dogs like the treats so much. I don't know if you guys saw on Halloween, I posted a little short video that had our costume contest, and I dressed Toby Dog up as a cow, and it was pretty adorable. And the cattle got kind of curious about him. Like, they were checking him out like he was one of their own, which I don't know. I kind of thought that was pretty cool. All right, let's see. Let's take some more questions here. Ooh, got another super chat from my friend, Sister of Scarlet. You have any concerns regarding Lenny's genes in the next gen? Yeah, I do. I mean, honestly, Sister of Scarlet, what I'd love to do is actually find a home for Lenny so that he's not at the farm kind of, getting in the mix in the gene pool. I don't think he's actually going to be strong. He's a male, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's a gander. And I don't think he's going to have he's going to be able to compete for a mate essentially. And so I goose mating is much different than duck mating. It's very aggressive. It's very much, they kind of battle for supremacy. I don't think he's ever going to be able to hang with that. So I think he's going to kind of naturally opt out, but I would love to actually find another place to send him, not to the freezer. Just, I don't know. Got too much of a soft spot for that one. But somewhere. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question though. Havoc's Girl, have you seen the Dirty Jobs episode called Goose Down Pillows? They have a really good way to pluck waterfowl. You should look into it, what they do. So Havoc's Girl, I have actually seen that episode. I know exactly what you're talking about. I even tried to get in touch with those folks. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get the machinery set up and together. I was actually thinking about this the other day of once my buddy Alfred and I tackle this, once we tackle this whole hoop house project, I'm going to try to employ him to help me build a new goose plucker design. If there's any sort of genius out there who could figure this one out, I really would say it's probably Alfred. So I don't know. That's my guess. All right. What else we got here? More questions. Okay. Mathayu is asking, do you think you'll buy 1 or 2 donkeys with your dogs to protect your cattle from predator? Well, thank you for the super chat. I don't think I'm going to get donkeys anytime soon, I guess, to answer your question. I would love to maybe get one day, but only once I've like sort of gotten my rest of my act together on everything else. Yeah, that would be my plan ultimately. But at some point, I might get them. The donkeys are more entertainment than protection. The livestock guardian dogs do a good enough job for protection. I don't need a donkey. I got the dogs, really, is what it comes down to. Okay. Piper Lily. Hey, Piper Lily. Good to see you. She asks, or he asks, I don't know if that's a male or female name, or maybe, so let's see. So I have named the cattle, and I will actually show you guys each of the cattle and each of their names. So let me just give me a minute here. Bear with me. Let me find some video. Okay. Here you go. So starting on the far right. So if you look at the far right of the screen, you see that one steer. It's one steer standing by himself. That is Kurt Cobain. So he is our steer. His name is Kurt Cobain. All the steers are going to have dead rock star names is the plan. Then that black cow you see standing right there, that is, her name is Audrey 1. That's, kind of based in Little Shop of Horrors, and that's Audrey 1. Let's see who else. So the girl who's sitting, if you see her in the far back by my hand, her name is Anne of Green Gables, or sometimes I call her Anne Shirley. And then let's see if I can see the other 2 there. That's Kurt again. Oop, there you go. Hold on, I missed her. There's Anne. All right, so I might not be able to find them in this video here. The other cows names are Annabelle and Audrey the Little Mermaid. I'm sorry, Ariel and Annabelle, Ariel the Little Mermaid are the other 2 cows. So those are our 5 cattle. We have named them officially. Hey, Patricia, thank you for that super chat. And you love your farm. So excited with the cattle, the cats, and Toby. You grew up in Marlboro, Connecticut. That's crazy. I grew up in Marlboro, Connecticut too. Well, small world. I'm actually now very curious, about your age and just did we cross paths or do we know each other in common or a different generation, anything like that? But thank you for that super chat. Oh, have I heard of the Urban Rescue Ranch? Let me just tell you something, Milia. I will tell you that their goose named Morgan, that goose that they have, that's a goose that's actually a descendant of the geese from our farm. And the reason it's named Morgan, that's because of this guy. Yeah, no, Ben's a buddy of mine. And yeah, he's a great guy. If you guys don't know Urban Rescue Ranch, it's a great channel to check out. And yeah, he actually named a goose after me that he hatched from some of our hatching eggs. So yeah, that's the Urban Rescue Ranch for you. Yeah, you know what, Wade? I thought about that too. Kurt Calbane. Thank you for that super chat. So I really thought about that, but then yeah, exactly. It's a steer, so it kind of felt silly. Of course, we did have Alexander Hamilton, which he was a rooster. So and yes, as my friends at Celtic Roots Farm say, our cattle are Scottish Highland cattle. They're not registered, but I mean, as you can see, the reason they're the big shaggy cows is because they're Scottish Highlanders. Yeah, Arlie, I had dinner today. So what did I have for dinner today? You'd actually be very interested because pretty much everything we had for dinner, I mean, was actually from the farm. So we had some roast chicken that I made. That was one of the roosters that I harvested the other day. And we had potato leek soup that Allison made, which was from potatoes from the garden and leeks from the garden. I'm sure there was things like butter and salt that we didn't obviously produce from the farm, but all the main ingredients came from the farm today. Loving the show. I'm chilling with a can of soda and a bar of chocolate. Well, good for you, Daniel. Thanks for stopping by there. Yeah, Pro Gamer. I like to hunt. I'm getting ready. And actually, Pro Gamer, you are the chatter who has made a good segue, and I'm going to actually show you guys some things I've been watching on our trail camera. So as you guys know, I like to set up trail cameras around the farm. And because of the season that we're in, I have been looking for various things that I've been seeing, and I wanted to pull some clips that I saw from the trail cameras. So let me share some of that with you guys. All right. So as you can see here, we have plenty of deer. There is no shortage of deer here at Goldshot Farm. It's really more a matter of, can I find a nice buck to pick out and harvest? That's really the thing I'm looking for right now. Yeah, we most definitely have plenty of deer going on here. If you look at kind of some of this footage, they just come to this spot. I know exactly where this spot is. I try to set up a deer blind pretty much from right where I'm looking from, like is where the spot that I like to have like a little blind set up. And yeah, they come right in here pretty much every single day in the afternoon and in the mornings. And so it's a good spot for them. Sometimes they get spooked though. You can see they just ran off. The other thing though that I have noticed is I've caught a couple of interesting predators going around, including the return of the bobcat. You see that there? That guy slinking through the shadows there. I'm going to play it again. Definitely a bobcat has been wandering around. I mean, we're pretty far from where the animals are, so I'm not very worried about the ducks and geese and chickens at all. But we most definitely have a bobcat. I caught him on this camera on this afternoon about a week and a half ago. And then I also caught him on this camera. Look at he's a big boy, or she's a big girl. I don't know if male or female. Look at that. That's a sizable one, right? Like that's pretty cool. Thank you for that super chat, Nancy. And yeah, I make maple syrup here on the farm. Really, we only do it enough for the home scale. All right, I'm going to keep showing you guys some of this trail footage, because also, if you look at some of this night camera footage, if you look right in the center of the screen, I don't know if you can see that or not, but see it creeping? There's the bobcat back again. So this is about a day after that daytime footage I got. I'm pretty sure it's the same bobcat, just going through there. Yeah, there they go. And then the other interesting animal I picked up on the trail cameras, pretty much right around the same day too, no less. You can see this one. This one I think you got to wait for just a minute. Maybe an opportunity for drink some more. There it is. We got a bear. Just a big old, not a big old bear, pretty young bear actually, wandering around. Just spilled water on my console. Sorry, guys. There it goes. All right, let's see. I think you can see it there. He's just sort of like off in the distance. It's not a great shot because it's a black bear at night. There it goes, kind of wandering off. I think that was it. Oh, and then this one's actually pretty funny. So then the other thing is, the other day when I went to actually go get the trail cameras, I came across a flock of turkeys, and then if you wait for it, then there was this turkey riding on through. So there you go. Yeah, so that's what's been happening with trail cameras. And Michelle, thank you. That's super, super generous. I really appreciate that. And I will definitely be using this money to buy treats for Toby Dog and the Barn Cats. So thank you very much. It's super much appreciated for that super chat. And question from, I guess, Derpface. What is your favorite animal on the farm? I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I think, Toby Dog and the Barn Cats like definitely have places in my heart that are super, super deep, that far exceed farm animals. I love working with the geese, and I think it's a lot of fun. But I also got to say that, the cattle have been awesome, and I'm just having so much fun enjoying them. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, Al, I toyed with the idea of like going all hardcore Scottish on it. I don't know. It feels like everybody ends up doing that. So I wanted to go a little different. And so it was, and yeah, there you go. When you hunt, will you snack on Happy Spoon cereal? Oh, you mean Magic Spoon cereal? I love Magic Spoon cereal, guys. I'm just gonna say, I know they've been a sponsor in the past, but yeah, I love me some Magic Spoon. I think it's great, especially like the peanut butter one and the blueberry one. I'm a fan. Okay, have we had hound hunting problems lately? So we actually haven't had any problems with hound hunters. That's been the good news. As far as our land goes, the issues have been much, much less problematic. It's gotten better ever since I made some of those videos. I think they're actually like trying to actively avoid me. And speaking of actively avoiding me, Butch Spear, who's the guy who's the president of the Vermont Bear Hounding Association, he is absolutely avoiding me. And like, we in the earlier video, I'd mentioned that we were going to try to talk and do something and have a conversation. And he has like avoided me like the plague at this point. And I just don't know what to say there. Yeah, so I will be actually doing a full-on update video. There was actually an event here in Peacham, Vermont, which is where I live, regarding bear hounding, where they actually even pretended like it was going to be from Vermont Fish and Wildlife, but I actually just got confirmation from Vermont Fish and Wildlife, and they said that actually they weren't sponsoring the event, so they were like even like misrepresenting it. And so, yeah, I'll be putting out a video talking about all of that very soon. Okay, more questions here. Let me hit a couple of those. Yes, Matthew, I have an extensive wool sweater collection that comes out this time of year, and yeah, it's my favorite thing to wear. Yeah, aside of salt, like I was saying earlier, not good. I think the ducks are in a good place. I'm ready for the puppy too. I've actually got my act together there. The chickens are fine. The geese I've got huge issues with. Cattle are fine. So that's it. That's about it. All right. 88% asks, why don't I curse? I don't know. I don't want to offend people. I know kids watch this stuff. I know some people don't like to hear cursing. I will swear every once in a while, especially like bang my thumb with a hammer. I'll definitely, have to probably bleep that if I videotape it. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just try to avoid it. I think most people don't want to hear it. I actually think that the reason I don't curse is I was very much raised that, people will look down on you if you just are using foul language. Like if you use foul language as a filler word, as like, I'm saying like, or, a lot of people will curse in that fashion. And I do think it kind of makes you seem less intelligent. And so that was always sort of stressed to me as I was a kid. And so I think I've just sort of internalized that and carry it with me. Not to say that's true. I'm sure there's some communities where that is their vernacular, but I don't know. It is what it is. So my wife is curious. You ever looking to get a healer type of dog for the cows? This one has come up a lot, especially as I've had, the issues with the cattle and managing the cattle. And, maybe at some point, but I will say I'm not going to rush out to go get it because, I don't know. Number one, I think trying to get a cattle dog to herd my cattle is it's a real commitment, and it's really taking on a responsibility. And that's not something you just do willy nilly or be like, oh, it's not like when I got the cattle, I had to rush out because I was like, oh, I need to buy a couple more fencing reels because it'll make my job easier. It's not like a purchase like that. It's like hey, we're taking on another enterprise here on the farm, and I have to be committed to training and working with this animal. And am I going to give it everything I'm willing to give? And the answer right now is no. And so that is why I haven't rushed to get it. Will I get one maybe in a couple of years once I've gotten the whole puppy breeding situation set with the livestock guardian dogs and, kind of anything like that? I think that in and of itself, probably it could happen, but yeah, I don't think anytime soon. Sarah Schneider, you didn't curse when you electrocuted your head. Yeah, I'm surprised by that too. What actually I always find funny when I watch that video, because I will have to admit, guys, I don't really remember that happening. Like I like the minute or two, it's like almost erased from my brain. You probably noticed in that video, I just actually keep speaking gibberish at one point. That to me is honestly, yeah. I don't know, but yeah, I'm surprised I didn't curse there either. And yeah, Jack, I'm sure that you can have a higher sales rate with cursing. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not a good salesman. So Julia, the petition actually has been doing good. I mean, it's up over 100,000 signatures. I have gotten completely ignored by Governor Phil Scott. Like nothing, nada. I feel like I should probably make a video on this topic of how do you get the attention of 100,000 people supporting a cause and have the governor completely ignore it in a state that only has I don't know, 650, 700,000 people? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Wait, I want to make sure I don't misquote that. Population of Vermont. Hang on. I was right. 623,000 people as of 2019. So yeah, there you go. I don't know. Why don't I have Muscovy ducks? I don't know. I think I've been meaning to add Muscovy ducks each year, but for one reason or another, I end up not doing it. It's nothing against the Muscovies. I think they're a good breed. I just have focused on more mallard-based ducks, and that's kind of where I go. Georgia asked, which rooster did you eat tonight? The ones that you're using the chicken? No, it was actually one of the young ones. It was actually a relatively small bird. We actually eat such little meat. So, for example, tonight I just basically roasted up a chicken thigh and a chicken drumstick. Allison had the drumstick. I had the thigh. It went with the rest of our meal. We try to eat meat really sparingly in small doses. Yeah, but it was a little one. It was a little guy. It actually tasted really good. Not gamey at all. So back to my great chicken experiment, I would say it was actually a success. The meat was great. The sizes and weights were pretty good. Feed conversion, I got to finish doing the math, and I'll do a video on this. Wasn't bad, though. And so there you go. Thank you, that Gail Shyfly. I really appreciate the super chat. And yes, exists logic. Drinks always taste better out of mason jars. What was the scariest moment you had on the farm? That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't ever had any spooky moments. I don't know. I'm not a big believer in the supernatural, even if you guys might have seen my Halloween Facebook live stream. I I think actually there was one point when Toby was a puppy and he snuck away from me for a couple minutes and ran out into the middle of the road and a car was coming. That was probably the scariest moment, or actually, as I'm really thinking about it, driving to the hospital with little Barn Cat and taking her there and not expecting her to live through the night. That was, you know what? All right. As I've been thinking about this DAP, that was the scariest moment, that by far. I did, Rick. I harvested the honey. Actually, you can see it right here. I actually pulled out the honey supers, got it all set. Got a couple pounds of honey. It was good. It's great. I'm really excited. Like, makes me very happy to have tea in the morning that's sweetened by honey from our bees. And so I would say it's a success. I don't know if the honey the bees are going to survive. I will probably buy 2 new colonies just to kind of go and I don't know, but yes, the honey was good. Do you ever find it hard to eat the animal after it's been butchered? Because whilst I understand the farm and these animals are the best lives, at one wrong day, I was just wondering, no, you know what? I actually feel like a duty to eat it and enjoy it because it's like, I don't want it to go to waste. And so, there you go. Yeah, I completely agree, Daryl. I guess the reason I say gamey, I mean like tough, like, like a rooster, like General Washington. I know, like when we cook them, I'm gonna have to slow cook them somehow and do it a little different. He's gonna be tough, but like these young roosters, like I said, I just basically roasted it in a cast iron skillet, and it tasted great. It wasn't chewy, it wasn't like tough, it wasn't stringy. It was great. I don't know, Josh Levin. Why are we yelling? I think. Is this? So the reason people put their questions in caps, and I actually really appreciate it when they put it in all caps, is because it helps me see what questions are versus somebody just giving a comment. That way, I know I can try to I can highlight it and try to answer it. Okay. Well. There is one other thing, and Carrie Ann, you've set up the perfect segue for this. Everybody's been wondering about the puppy. And so let me give you guys a little bit of a puppy update. So as you can see here, we actually have, and I'm sorry the video is sideways, I can't fix that right now. As you can see here, there were 8 puppies born in Central California over at Prancing Pony Farm. Kim is her name, is the breeder. She's awesome. She's been so great to work with. I really appreciate everything she's done so far. She's been sending me little video updates. And so this is actually, I think, like the day after they were born, maybe the day of. You can see them. They're just these little pink things with their eyes completely closed. Still adorable, but definitely tiny there. Let me turn the volume down so it's not too loud for you guys. I showed this in the other video. Here they are a couple days later, or maybe a week later. You can see them. They're looking good. Now, you guys might notice that they seem to have like color on them. So the reason what that is it's actually breeding chalk for sheep. And Kim marks them all with a different color. And some of them have on the left side or on the hip or the shoulder. And it just helps her identify the puppy, because what Kim's doing, and this is what all really good breeders are doing, is she's watching these puppies and watching them develop personalities and watching them become the dogs that they will ultimately be. And what she's doing is she's going to actually try to get a dog that matches Toby's energy. So whereas Toby is a very chill Maremma, not aggressive, not super like alpha, he's a relatively chill one. And he also likes to kind of, explore a little bit. She's going to look for one that's maybe slightly more protective and slightly more aggressive on the female side, which will make a really good complementary partner to Toby. And so that's why she marks them like that, so that she can watch them from a very young age and see them develop. Here, if you keep watching here. Here you go. Here are more puppies. Just look at them now. This is more recent. I think this was the other day. They're definitely becoming like little dogs. You can see them. They're still at their mama's teat, but you can definitely see that they're going to become dogs. You can see them. They're outside now versus say inside in the whelping shed that she's got set up. I think they're just adorable. And then here, let me show you just a little bit more here. Here they are still outside. They got some toys. They got one of the other dogs on the farm kind of checking them out, which is good. You know, having them get used to these other animals, that's always a really good thing to see. So far so good with the puppies. I'm really excited. The plan is that I'm gonna get them in like late January, February-ish. Get her in late January, February-ish. I'm still trying to figure out my game plan. A number of folks have written me and offered to like pick them up for me. I might actually try to do the trip myself. We're gonna see. I'm still figuring it out. If I can find a farm sitter, I'm definitely gonna go do it. But I don't know. It's sort of touch and go right now. Out of all the farm animals you don't have yet, which ones are you most interested in getting in the future? That's a good question, Pro Gamer. What I would say is this. Now that we have the cattle on the farm, I feel like that was like a big thing I was working towards over the last couple of years, is getting ready to handle these animals. And, you know, I'm still learning and I still have a lot of ways to go, but, you know, they're here and I'm actually feeling like I'm really getting into, and I'm really getting into a good rhythm. And so I would say that is, you know, kind of one piece. I think the next animal I'd turn my attention to will probably be pigs. Pigs or turkeys, or maybe both. I could see, I don't feel like adding turkeys to the farm would be a big challenge for me, to be really honest. I've worked so much with poultry between ducks and geese and chickens that adding turkeys, I have like a little bit of a different approach that I'd have to take, but it's not crazy. And I wouldn't be intimidated by it at all. Hey, JK, for some reason I missed the notification of your super chat, but I just noticed it now. That's incredibly generous. My son said, Abid, he really wants to meet you and see the farm. Well, you know, I really appreciate the super chat. What I'm hoping to try to do, guys, because I've actually gotten a number of emails on this topic, and really, what I would like to do is try to have a couple of days next year where I'm calling them like open farm days, where I invite anybody to come in and hang out, and I'll try to give a talk or two and give people a tour, and you can meet Toby Dog and the barn cats, and it could be like kind of a fun day adventure. And I'm trying to set up a couple days where that would be the case. And so, and that's the case. You guys could come here, meet me, hang out with the animals. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I know I'm never going to be in a place where I can have the time to just like let people stop by, because I would just find it would be hard for me to like do the work I actually need to do around the farm. And so I don't anticipate doing that anytime soon, but I would like to do those open farm days at some point sometime soon. And thank you, JK, for that very, very generous super chat. I really appreciate it. All right. Darius asks, why a Maremma instead of a Great Pyrenees? Well, Darius, the reason I went with the Maremma is a couple of reasons. One, I had been introduced to this breeder who was really great. My buddy, actually, he's the owner of Toby's father, Ford, a great dog. And so I was like, ooh, that's a good sign. And then also, when it comes down to it, Maremmas are a little bit more low-key and a little bit less aggressive than the Great Pyrenees. And when you're working with poultry, you want a little bit more of a low-key animal. Again, your job isn't, as with the Maremma, to have them bond with the flock like they would with, like, say, sheep or goats. What you want them to do is actually have them just be protective of the farm as a whole. And so that's actually why I think, I ended up with the Maremma. All right, more questions. I'm going too slow. So, Labath the Great, I kind of have processed them out. So I have an approach for how to process the geese, and it's like kind of the most efficient way. It's still kind of a pain in the butt, and it's a lot of work, and I don't have any way to outsource it really. So I guess my answer to your question is maybe, sort of, kind of. So I've actually never had to demite or deworm any of my poultry. I think the biggest reason is just I think it's partially to do with how I keep them. I mean, number one, and as you can see here on the aerial shot, they have a lot of space to go around. And so that extra space means that they're not overcrowded. They don't have too much recycling of manure. I put a lot of wood chips down. So I often will put wood chips around. Like if you look down where like all the duck and goose housing is down over there, you'll notice a lot of brown. It's not just dirt over there. It's also actually a lot of wood chips. That wood chips act, as Joel Salatin likes to say, a carbonaceous diaper, and it soaks up that manure and helps it compost better. That keeps things cleaner. And then I don't overcrowd my houses. I'm always putting fresh bedding down. So again, so that, they're not having buildup. And so that those things all have really helped. How do I think Toby Dog will react to the new puppy on the farm? I think he's going to take to it really well. I think he's going to be sort of curious at first, like in the first 20 minutes. I think then he's going to be excited when he finds out he has an animal that can finally play with him. And I think they are going to do they're going to be awesome. Hi, man. As a dude in Wisconsin who's on his own farming path, it's always a rush to get ready for winter. What's the thing that you're most worried about getting ready for? Oh, Brett, by far, this goose situation. I don't want to have to basically butcher half my flock because I don't have the housing for it. That's the thing that's the most stressful right now. And there you go. Okay, Danilo is asking, what do you do when a fox eats your chickens? Please advise me. I mean, number one, I'm really sorry that happened. It sucks. Whenever a predator eats your animals, it's just downright heartbreaking, really. I mean, it's really hard to contend with. It's disappointing. So I guess the first thing I'd want to say, Danilo, above all else, is I'm sorry you have to go through that. I think in terms of other advice I'd have, I think it's a matter of how do you create greater security for your animals? How do you make sure your enclosures are predator proof? How do you add things like electric fencing? How do you add things like, I don't know, like a livestock guardian dog? Like, how do you do something like that? So I think in my mind, those are probably some of the biggest things to think about. So yeah, I don't know if that helps, man, but I'm really sorry. This video, so I did want to actually take a minute too to plug. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be or tomorrow afternoon, I should say, I'm going to be uploading a new video, and you're actually seeing some scenes from it right here. And the new video is going to be actually shot in 360 mode. It's one of those ones you're not going to want to watch it on your TV, but back to my friend JK, who said that they wanted to visit the farm. This is actually going to be your most immediate best way to visit the farm, is watching this video, because it's you're going to feel like you're there. It's pretty crazy. And if you watch it on your computer, you're going to be able to pan around and move the camera around. If you watch it on your phone, you're going to be able to move around and look around kind of like this. I wouldn't watch it on your television because it's much harder to navigate. But then the thing to do is, if you have a virtual reality headset, like an Oculus or something, it is so cool. I got to say, I just actually watched it on an Oculus headset yesterday, and I was blown away. I was whoa, I'm reliving my life. It's nuts. And so that's going to be tomorrow's video. So I strongly encourage you guys to check it out. All right, more questions. Wow, Morowitz, thank you for the super chat. Salutations from Argentina again. I think you should really look into carbon credits and their implementation with the blockchain. You could generate a new important revenue stream from all those 4 acres of forest you have. Yeah, I think that's an interesting thought. I guess a couple of reactions to it, and thank you for that super chat. Number one, I'm not a huge fan of the carbon credit system. I feel like it actually skirts around how some people deal with kind of actually improving their environmental impact. And so I think it kind of is often manipulated. I mean, so I guess that's number one. I mean, yeah, diversification's good, but I don't know. I guess I wouldn't rush to do it. And then I will also admit, I just don't have the know-how or time to try to investigate that one, but it's a very interesting thought. Joe, how do I deal with the snowfall with the birds? I mean, it's actually pretty straightforward, right? I make sure that they have housing. I make sure that they are protected from, kind of the rough weather. They have dry, clean bedding. I mean, those are the major things, to be really blunt. Like, I don't think there's much more magic than that to really think about. Like
a friend of mine
back here
store. They are pretty darn durable. They hold a 5-gallon bucket of water perfectly.
Shot, right?
It took me a lot about using like electric.
See, we got snow. The birds are out.
But
birds
unlike
are
the problem with those, about a third of their diet
why am I not finding any shots of birds
freeze isn't a big problem.
hang on. Let me find a different video to give you as an example there, Joe Moore. We actually didn't have a very snowy winter last year. It was kind of weird, honestly. We had points of time when it was cold, but the snow was not like great. I mean, it was mediocre. I really wonder what kind of weather we're gonna have.
Seeing is how we're.
Yeah, I mean, look, the birds are just hanging out. They do their thing. I think the biggest thing is to just replace the water very regularly because it freezes. How chilly is Vermont compared to Mass? It's colder. I mean, so I grew up in Connecticut, which is probably, I don't know, about 120 miles from where I'm living right now. And, I think, like it's, I don't know. It's a little bit colder. I don't know exactly how much. Our elevation is up higher, so we get more snow, and it is still colder even still. Okay, this is a great question here from Lee. So if you're thinking about it right now, is the perfect time if you want to grow trees. Like, it is the perfect time to do it. Right now, you should be taking your tree seeds, like, so if you have chestnuts or acorns or apple seeds, and getting ready to sprout them. And like, what I'm going to be doing actually this weekend is burying a couple hundred chestnut seeds, and that's going to be how I sprout them for next spring. And so there you go. Oh, hey, by the way, I don't think I missed a super chat here. Wait, everybody's saying I missed a super chat. I'm really sorry if I did. I don't think I did, but yeah. So I think that would be the number one thing. That way you can pull them up in the springtime, and you're going to be able to plant them in a bed. And so that would be my best advice. Start your sprouting now, especially if you're doing chestnuts. So, side of salt, his full name is Sir Bartleby de Mimsey Porpington, Earl of Caledonia County, and it's pretty much just gibberish. And Allison suggested shortening it to Toby, and I don't know, for some reason I added dog to the name, and that's really the magic to how we got his name. All right. They're doing good. It's funny. I think all three of them, they've become a pack of cats, and they all kind of run together. They sort of battle with each other, and Molly's definitely the top cat now. Pablo's kind of like the older, wiser sensei, and Ginny's the young upstart who annoys everybody. But Pablo actually really takes care of her these days. Hey, Morgan, have you ever read into Sepp Holzer's book for permaculture? Yeah, I'm actually pretty familiar with Sepp Holzer and some of his teaching. I have read his books a couple years ago. I might even have one of them back there. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, in terms of future plans, like the biggest thing that I'm implementing right now is the fact that we're actually grazing animals inside the permaculture orchard. Like, that was a big step. That was always part of my design. When I was like plotting out what the permaculture orchard was going to be. Can I see it? There you go. That's the shot I want. So if you look at here, right on the screen, you can see that the brown lines are where I have the swales and berms and trees, and there's like shrubs and stuff growing. And then the green is actually grazing alleys that I have in between. And right now, actually, that second grazing alley from the top is where the cattle are, and they're going to graze through stuff that I actually didn't mow at all this year as sort of an experiment. And they're doing a great job. That's a part of the grazing, the permaculture orchard, just nearly as much as the as like the trees themselves. And so that to me is the biggest thing that I've been working on when it comes to it. Hey, well, KT and OG, thank you for stopping by. Have honey for my throat. I will have some honey with tea after this for sure. All right. Darius Blaze asks, how long did it take you to grow 10,000 on YouTube? Any tips for somebody who uploads outdoor content? It's an interesting question. Let's see. How long did it take me to grow to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube? I can actually answer that question for you. But the short answer is it was a while. I think it was like at least a year, probably even more than that. I mean, like if I think about like how long it took, it was quite some time. I mean, so I think in my first year. Wait, hold on. Let me just pull up the numbers versus trying to talk out of my butt for you guys here. Can I see my analytics? So my subscriber count total. Oh, it doesn't let me see like in total. I'm sorry, guys. But my answer, Darius, I guess would be about it was more than a year. And the biggest things if you want to try to like make stuff work on YouTube, consistency I think is good. I think finding your voice, what makes you different, is important. Creating titles and thumbnails that attract attention, and then focusing on that first 30 seconds of what it took to like get people hooked on that video. I think those are probably the most important. How is the farm business revenue? It's doing pretty good. I think I'm going to be ending up right around where I was last year, where my hatching and breeding businesses are going to do more money. My meat business is going to do less money. My tree business is going to do more money. And so I think it's going to all sort of even out. Glitchy, yes, I will probably end up getting a bull. I might do AI. I don't know. I've been debating this one. I don't have a great answer for it. It's going to be one or the other, but I will definitely have to have some way to add new offspring once these cattle, which I hope are pregnant, end up giving birth. So I feel like I get this every live stream. No, I think we're kind of unique, particularly in the YouTube homesteading world. I know that for sure. We don't really want children. My wife and I, when we were dating, it was like one of those things that we talked a lot about and said, hey, what sort of life do we want to live if we were to ever get married? And, we have all those good, deep discussions that you should have, kind of with your potential partner. And we both kind of netted out with like, we weren't really sure we wanted kids. And so we've never rushed to have them, didn't really try. I mean, we actively avoided, I should say. And we don't have any plans to have kids. This is a good question, Rick. So the reason you see like the wavy lines and it's not straight is because the swales and berms are dug on something known as contour. So this is actually something that you can see in like a Sepp Holzer book. The land, right? It's not flat. It kind of rolls and moves. But the lines that we did, the swales, which are the trenches, as well as the berms, which are the humps, which help us capture water, are perfectly even. And so we dug them in a way where I basically went through with like a laser level and made sure I looked at every single point so that I could ultimately find a way to make them level. And so it looks weird and it's kind of funny, but it's actually perfectly even and level. And that was very intentional. I shouldn't say perfectly, but it's mostly even and level. I screwed some stuff up. So Corey, Lil is downstairs. Allison's downstairs hanging out under a warm blanket, relaxing. The house is kind of cold here right now. And she's hanging out with Allison. So unfortunately, I don't have my co-host tonight. A Greek guide for goose plucking says to put them in the freezer for 3 to 4 hours before plucking. Reduces tearing and feathers come out easier. Maybe experiment with that. Wow. I have never heard that. And I will 100% experiment with that. Could that work? All right, for 3 or 4 hours. So you're not letting the bird freeze solid, which it's weird because that's almost like the opposite, right? Of like when you're scalding, you're putting them for about a minute in like 150 degree water. 160-degree water, and like that action opens up their pores and like loosens it up so that the feathers can be pulled. I would think that the cold constricts and tightens it, but I don't know. Maybe the Greeks were up to something. You know what, Lebath the Great? I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to at least set one goose aside to try that method. Thank you, Dr. Neven, for that super chat. And can I start a farm like you in India? I'm in tropical weather. You are famous in India. I'm famous in India. You know, I haven't been back to India. Let's see. I probably went to India. It was about, I don't know, maybe 8-9 years ago. It'd be funny if I went back and like people recognize me. I'd be totally weirded out by that, but that'd be very cool. But let me answer your question. So I think you want to start a farm that matches your landscape. So if you want, like, that would be the thing that I feel like defines my farm. That, and you know, we kind of are very open in how we talk about what happens on our farm. You know, and so like I wouldn't say, oh, you should try to have, you know, a Toby dog and Scottish Highland cattle and ducks and geese. I don't know what works well in your climate, what works well in that tropical weather. Like really think about that and then go, what are people not doing but would work well there? I mean, that's how I landed on ducks and geese, for example. And so that would be what I'd encourage you if you wanted to try to start a farm like ours in India. Philip, I'm going to appall some people. Our thermometer, our like thermostat, which we have like those little nest dealies, is set to, I think like right now it's probably about 56 degrees or so, which is why I'm wearing a sweater. we try to like limit, you know, how much we do there. Oh, I think it's definitely worked. Yeah. So the pond held water much better this year. The problem was it still didn't keep pace with evaporation. And so I got to figure out a way to get more water into it on an ongoing basis. Yeah, Glitchy, I think that's right. You know, the barn cats are like children. Toby dog's like a child. The new puppy will probably be like a child too. So I think that is definitely an accurate statement. I'm hoping all of them are pregnant. I think one might not be, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen them go into heat or anything yet, and they've been here about a month so far. I'm going to keep watching for that. That to me is like one of the big signs about whether they're open or not. And so we'll have to see. Time will tell. Hey, Rose. I'm glad you made it. Another one of our great moderators, Rose from the Wholesome Roots, down in Georgia. Hey, 13 Moons. What's going on? So many good folks here. Katie Peterson, thank you for that super chat. Have I ever considered guinea fowl? They're amazing for our farms. You know, I have considered them a lot, and the answer is maybe someday. You know, how do I put this? I often hear that they just sort of run off and become food for wildlife. So that's number one. Number two, we just already have so many birds. It just becomes, I don't know. I'm not sure if it'll be totally worth it. But who knows? Maybe. My buddy Alfred's doing really good. He's, you know, he's actually helping me, you know, with that hoop house, like I said earlier. And yeah, he and I are going to be working on stuff this weekend. So he is doing well. I'll tell him you said hi, Chris. Okay. I am going to need to turn in tonight, guys, because I'm exhausted, admittedly. I've been like, you know, doing a lot of things, and I will, you know, be hopefully back here soon. Actually, if you guys are looking to hang out more on live streams, lately I've been going on Facebook and live streaming there. We've actually developed a pretty good sized following on Facebook lately. And so I'll be there for the next couple weeks. And what I've been doing when I've been live streaming on Facebook is I've actually been hosting like a talk show. It's like I keep saying it's like my attempt at trying to do like Wayne's World, but for talking about my farm and my friends' farms, and you know, answering questions, and people can call in even. It's really kind of cool. So if you're bored tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern time, come on out there, and I'll be hanging out. The other thing I wanted to say is we have new stickers, and I haven't even opened this pack, but we got these cool die-cut logo Goldshaw Farm stickers. I want to give these to you for free. So for anybody out there watching this and they want a free sticker, here's what you have to do. What you have to do is send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. So that means you send an envelope to me, and inside that envelope needs to have an envelope that has your address as the return as the kind of to address, and include a stamp on that envelope that you want me to send back to you. And what happens is Allison opens up all the envelopes. She takes these stickers and drops them in there and sends them back out to you. And so you get totally free stickers, completely free. All you have to do is pay for your postage, and you have to come up with an envelope, but you can even like recycle like an old bill envelope even. And so if you don't know about a self-addressed stamped envelope, Google it. It's like an old-fashioned type of thing, but these will be for free for you. I will be back with a new video tomorrow. It's going to be shot in 360. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun, though. Definitely check that out. And I'll be back live streaming tomorrow night on Facebook, 7:30 p.m. Thank you, as always, guys, for hanging out for these farm meetings. These things are like my favorite. I just love being able to connect with you guys and answer as many questions as I possibly can. And thank you to all my moderators, too. So Bettina and Rose at Wholesome Roots and Jack at the Mindful Homestead. And I didn't miss anybody else that I didn't see here tonight. But thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And have a great night.